I'm here with Robert Hooke at his boutique in the Sculpture Garden at the 2011 Hampton Classic. Hi, Robert.
Hello, Zoe. How are you?
Beautiful
Thank
sculptures.
you. Thank
Wow,
you.
you are talented. You've been
Well,
doing this for a long time.
long time, long time.
Tell me about how you got into sculpture.
Well, after I served in the military, I'm going back quite a few years. I came back and started to work, and I'd always been a modest collector, even when I was traveling in the military and so forth. And then when I came back, I decided to enroll in New York School of Visual Arts, and but I, was just getting started then in my own efforts, and I had to work to support myself, and so I got a job on Wall Street because I have a degree in economics as well, an MBA, and was introduced at the New York School of Visual Arts to Herbert Callum, who was a resident sculpture professor. So he got us working pretty quickly in carving stone. And I guess he thought, I had something, so he said, look, you seem to have a feel for imagery and stone, carving stone and so forth, so I'll make I know you're working, okay, during the day, I'll make the school available, the school facilities available to you anytime. You can come at night, you can come on the weekends and so forth. So basically I was able to pursue both.
Wow, how lucky are you?
I mean, that's, without that, I don't know if I really would have gotten started.
So tell me about the process in making these beautiful sculptures.
Well, I was trained as a stone carver, which is a hammer and a chisel and rasps, and when you carve stone, when you carve anything, it's a reduction process, all right, where you reduce something, okay, and the opposite of that is molding, which is traditional clay on a wire frame and so forth, where you build up, all right. The difference, of course, is if you make a mistake in stone, big piece comes off, you've got to revamp your whole thinking. So I was really carving stone for many years, and this stuff was building up in the closets and so forth. And I moved to London.
Where do you store it all?
I moved to London, and somebody said, "Hey, you got to show these to this gallery in London." So I took some stone pieces to the Alwyn Gallery off Bond Street, and he says, "Great. How long does it take you to do a stone piece?" I said, "Oh, 3 months. Just forget it." I said, I was deflated. So I said, "What's the problem?" And he said, "Well, if you're going to show with me, you have to show every 2 years, 15 pieces. How are you going to do that?" So I said, I'll think of something. So what I then turned to was still carving, but I carved plaster blocks, much softer. All right, make the model in plaster and then cast in bronze.
Wow. So tell me about the process of the bronze. How do you you're heating up the bronze to a really...
No, what happens is you make a model, all right, plaster, okay, or you could even use stone, and then I take it to a foundry, okay. The foundry makes a mold, like a rubber mold, all right, and then I say, okay, let's cast it, right. So then what they do is from the mold they make a wax, okay. So I look at the wax, which is should be exactly like the model, make any changes I want to make. From the wax they make the bronze. So I actually, it's really the foundry that makes the bronze. I don't actually make the bronze myself.
It's amazing. Yeah. Wow.
It's called the lost wax process.
And you have a gallery in Sag Harbor.
I have a gallery in Sag Harbor, yeah.
Where? Tell our viewers.
It's on Washington Street, which is a small street across from the movie theater. And I'm on the second floor. There's big signs.
Hooke Gallery.
Hooke Sculpture Gallery.
Hooke Sculpture Gallery.
Yeah. And one of the things I'm very excited about recently is I was asked to upscale, basically make life size from a small model. All right, let me show you. It was this one here. Someone came in and said, "I like that very much." I said, "Great," and I took out my sales slip, and she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, you said you wanted it." I said, "She says, I do, but life size." And it was just
exciting. Was that?
Just finished a couple of weeks.
Challenge.
Yeah, it was just finished a couple of weeks ago, and there it is.
In her garden?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. So life size. Yeah. That is really beautiful. You must be so proud of it.
Thrilled, absolutely thrilled. And with the different techniques they have now for that process, upsizing, I'm going to hopefully get a chance to upsize some more.
What do you think why do you think people love your work so much? What do you think they're getting from it?
Well, many people come in and basically ask to touch it.
Yeah. it's
which is kind
smooth.
of yeah. So it's tactile. All right. The other thing I strive for is, as you can see, not a whole lot of detail. So it's you could call it impressionistic. I want people to get decide themselves what exactly is happening and so forth. And my sort of buzzword is stance. All right, it's all about body position, whether it's an animal, whether it's a human. The body position will tell you what's happening, okay? The shoulders, the head, the feet, the stance. That's what I try and portray.
So how do you come up with what you want to make? Do you just start carving and it comes out, or you really think and plan
Well,
what
it
you're going
depends
to do?
if it depends if it's a stone or if it's plaster. If it's plaster, I know I can kind of do anything I want with it.
Yeah,
All right.
plaster's
And
easy to come by.
Yeah, it's easy to come by, and I just get roughly. I know what I want to make before I get it. Okay, then I make the block that's roughly that size, and then I reduce it to carving and so forth. With stone, it's different. With stone, the object I think in carving stone is to use as much of the stone as you can. I mean, theoretically, you could chip away and reduce a big stone to something quite small. But the challenge is to use as much of the stone as possible. Therefore, you don't know what you're going to make until you look at the stone. Okay, and then you say, what will fit in the stone using as much of the stone as possible. And that's where you hear this sort of cliche that the artist releases from the stone what's in there.
Oh,
That's what the process really is.
well, it's been so wonderful talking to you. I'm so curious about sculpture. And any teaching in your future?
I've had a couple of queries, not so far. I really don't have time.
Maybe one day. One day.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll tell you what, I would enjoy teaching younger kids because I basically, with this, studied under Herbert Callum, who said, forget life drawing, forget trying to make it look like a person. Do something, do what pleases you. Okay, be your own critic. All right, and I think that's an exciting way to learn art.
it's a wonderful way to make art. I can tell you that's how I make art.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly.
I never plan it. I just do it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
You're very
Robert.
welcome.
It's so nice meeting you. And you
Thanks
have
for stopping
beautiful
by.
work. Thanks,
Thank
and
you.
I'll be sure to stop by your gallery in Sag Harbor. And I hope our viewers will stop by here at the Boutique Garden at the Hampton Classics. It's such a wonderful place to see your work among the horses here. And you do horses. You catch the horse so well. You create it so well. And to visit him in Sag Harbor as well. Sag Harbor's a wonderful place to be. You must love it.
I do.
Thanks,
Big change from
Robert.
London.